What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, Matchroom CEO and promoter, Eddie Hearn, has shaken up the foundation and made some headways today, as he's revealed that he made a lucrative, massive offer to undefeated, newly crowned International Boxing Federation, better known as the IBF, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, the phenom, as I refer to him as, Jaron Boots Ennis. Jaron Boots Ennis is 31 wins, no losses, no draws, 28 big wins by way of knockout, 26 years of age, 5'10" with a 74-inch arm reach. With that said, Jaron Boots Ennis received his IBF title via being elevated from the mandatory champion, challenger, and the IBF interim champion due to the fact that the current, now still unified world champion, superstar boxer, Terrence Bud Crawford, cannot fight Jaron Boots Ennis, right? And his previous mandatory was Terrence Crawford's biggest nemesis, whom he fought July 29th, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena, which is former unified 3-belt WBA, WBC, IBF welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Earl the True Spence Jr. Jaron Boots Ennis was Earl Spence Jr.'s mandatory challenger. Jaron Boots Ennis had been waiting for his opportunity, but the world had been clamoring to see Terrence Bud Crawford, who is now undefeated 3-division world champion, undisputed in 2 separate weight classes, and is widely acknowledged and recognized as the #1 pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, with a record of 40 wins, no losses, no draw, 31 big wins by way of knockout. He is 36 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. So Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence was one of the most highly anticipated fights in the last decade. It was seen to be a 50-50 fight on paper if there ever were one. So that's the fight the fans was clamoring for, to see Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. Jaron Boots Ennis has the potential to compete with both Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, but he's just a generation behind. And so because of that, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, they have in their contract an immediate rematch clause, to which Terrence Crawford is in a position where he's obligated contractually to give Errol Spence the rematch, and Errol Spence is well in his right to petition for a rematch immediately, which he did, which rendered Terrence Crawford helpless, right? Meaning that he can't do anything about it. So Jaron Boots Ennis petitioned the IBF, his father, trainer, manager, Bozy Ennis. They petitioned the IBF, Mr. Darryl Peoples, the president of IBF, and they ended up stripping Terrence Crawford and elevating Jaron Ennis to IBF champion. More importantly, Jaron Ennis has been fighting with the premier boxing champion, founder and advisor Al Haymon and the PBC on their network, on their platform, but he's not signed to Al Haymon and PBC. He was actually signed to Cameron Duncan, who just recently passed away, and he's signed to Showtime President of Sports Steven Espinosa, who just got relieved of his job, and Showtime decided to get out the business of the sport of boxing after 37 years. So with that said, right, that left Jaron Boots Ennis in limbo. Now, he's a hot commodity, and Eddie Hearn is saying he's offering him a massive lucrative deal to come to Matchroom, Dazn, and showcase his talents. The question is, what is the PBC offering Jaron Boots Ennis? Because, see, they don't do deals like that unless it's for exclusively a specific fighter. That fighter being 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, who's the undisputed super middleweight world champion, and widely acknowledged as one of the faces, if not, no doubt, the undisputed face of the sport of boxing, currently as it stands, in Canelo Alvarez, who's 60 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, and 39 big wins by way of knockout, 33 years of age, 5'8" with a 70-inch arm reach. Canelo Alvarez is proven. That's why the PBC gave him a massive, lucrative 3-fight deal that seemed to be worth nearly $50 million per fight. Why? Because Canelo Alvarez is a proven commodity. Canelo Alvarez has fought Floyd Mayweather, did 1 million pay-per-view buys. He has fought Gennady Golovkin twice, did 1 million pay-per-view buys in both fights. He also fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and it did 1 million pay-per-view buys. Then he fought the likes of Caleb Plant for Undisputed, and that did 750 to 850,000 pay-per-view buys. So he's a proven commodity. That's why they would invest their money into Canelo Alvarez. With that said, right, what can they offer Jaron Boots Ennis? Because they can't offer him Terrence Crawford, because Terrence Crawford is not signed to PBC. He has an obligation to rematch Errol Spence and a contract already placed and a deal already in place that he's going to fight Errol Spence on PBC, but he don't have a contract in place. They can't guarantee him Terrence Crawford. They can't guarantee an Errol Spence fight because you don't know what the results for Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford is going to be. And so Eddie Hearn is offering 2 fights. And I think that Jaron Ennis should explore that option. Reason being, follow the path and the model of undefeated 2-division world champion, former undisputed lightweight world champion, now the reigning WBC junior welterweight world champion, who's top 10 pound for pound best fighters in the world, in Devin the Dream Haney, with a record of 31 wins, identical amount of fights, 31 wins, no loss and no draws, 15 wins by way of knockout. He's 25 years of age, 5'9" with a 72-inch arm reach. He's younger than Jaron Boots Ennis, but he has accomplished way more with way bigger fights and pay-per-view fights than Jaron Boots Ennis, with his father, trainer, manager, and CEO of DHP, Devin Haney Promotions, Bill Haney. They have beaten world champions. They have beaten marquee fighters, Lomachenko. They sign in multiple deals. They need to follow that model. And I think what Jaron Boots Ennis should do right now, because the PBC had to reroute themselves because Showtime got out the business of the sport of boxing after 37 years. So they have to go to a different platform, which is Amazon Prime. But according to the reports, Amazon Prime is not giving them a budget. They're just giving them a platform in which to showcase their fights. Now, I don't know the details of that. Maybe the details will come out and it might be that they have a budget. I'm not certain. But we do know that Eddie Hearn in Dazn has a budget. And Jaron Boots Ennis has been stuck fighting the same level of fighters his entire career. You go to Eddie Hearn with the promise of he has a specific fighter that's a marquee fight for Jaron Ennis, and that's undefeated welterweight, junior middleweight, British superstar title contender, Conor Benn, the son of a legend, Nigel Benn. That's a huge fight. And it's perfect timing because Conor Benn is suspended by UKAD, United Kingdom Anti-Doping Agency, in the UK. So he doesn't have a license. The British Board of Boxing, the the Triple B C, is suspended Conor Benn. He don't have a license. He can't fight in the UK. So it's perfect timing to fight Conor Benn right now because he got to fight you in the States. It's perfect timing. He has to fight in the States. And he's going to be looking for a big fight, and he's trying to stay active. Eddie Hearn has control of Conor Benn. Big fight. There's another fight that can be made as well Maybe the weight classes is a little off right now, but that's a fight between himself and Virgil Ortiz Jr. Virgil Ortiz Jr. is with Golden Boy Promotions, Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions, but they're also with Dazn. Now Virgil Ortiz is fighting at 154, 160. Now, I don't know if Boots want to go up in weight, challenge him, and then come back down in weight. Don't even know if that's possible. But I do know he should attempt to follow the model of Devin Haney. Secure the Conor Ben fight. Other big fights that present themselves for Dazn and Eddie Hearn, I'm not sure what fights there is for them to showcase their talents on Dazn. But right now, Al Haymon and the PBC, they just don't have it for Jaron Boots Ennis. There's big fights to be made, but look, he can't secure the fight with Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman just won't give him the fight. He can't secure the fight with Amanda Stanionis. The Cody Crowley fight, he can't secure. What is he? He's running out of time as far as these marquee fights. And the PBC has a shortage. They have a reported 14 dates right now that they have, which is there's 12 months in a year. So they could put on one fight card per month. And that's 12 months, right? One fight card a month. And then what they could do is they can have 2 extra cards that are pay-per-view events. So 2 mega pay-per-view events and 12 fight cards per year, right? So they have right now 12 to 14 fights a year. Now, when you look at it, those dates are not always available because Canelo Alvarez needs 2 dates, May and June. So that's 2 months already taken up and 2 dates already taken up. Gervonta Tank Davis, he needs 2 dates. That's 4 dates already taken up. Then you have Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford rematch. That's 5 dates already taken up. Not to mention, I just gave you 5 pay-per-view fights. 5 pay-per-view fights. Now, you have to say David Benavidez has to get a date or 2 because he stays active. So he's going to need 2 dates. Now, 1 for sure he's going to get because he's already back in the gym. So that's 6 dates. Now, you can say if one of the dates is Canelo Alvarez, then he don't have 2 dates. He has 1 and a date with Canelo. That's still 6 dates. That's half the dates already taken up. That's half the dates already taken up. And now you have guys like, is Keith Thurman even going to fight? Because he would need a date. Imagine if Errol Spence was to beat Terrence Crawford. Then that means you need another date for the trilogy. Or imagine if Terrence Crawford beats Errol Spence, then he wants to stay there and get another fight. That's another date. That's 7 dates. Now, you still got to have Tim Tszyu have another date. You still have to have Jamel Charlo with another date. That's 8 dates. They're talking about Jamal Charlo fighting Caleb Plant. That's 9 dates. So what dates are they going to give? They already have 9 dates are booked. You have 2 dates for Canelo, 2 dates for Tank, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence rematch. David Benavidez is 1. You have to have Jamel Charlo. That's 7. You have to have Jamal Charlo, Caleb Plant. That's 8. And not to mention, if Terrence Crawford beats Errol Spence and wants to have another date, that's another date. Or imagine David Benavidez, he beats Canelo, that's another date. So we don't know. There's still the unknown. Then you have to have dates for guys like David Morrell, who might fight David Benavidez. Hopefully they can match them together. That takes away the date because they fight together. But if he don't, then he has to have another date. And then are you planning for Jamal Charlo to only fight once, Jamel Charlo for only fight once, Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence to only fight once, David Morrell to only fight once, and then you have other guys in lower weight classes that you have to have dates for? They're talking about Amanda Stanionis fighting Keith Thurman. That's a date. So that's 10 dates. And there's only 12 to 14. It's not looking good. That means that he's going to headline a non-pay-per-view card. And I just mentioned both Canelo fights is pay-per-view. Both Tank Davis fights is going to be pay-per-view. Right? Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford pay-per-view. How many pay-per-view cards are there? How many pay-per-view fight cards are there? So, this is what's said, that Premier Boxing Champion signs media rights deal with Amazon Prime Video to stream events beginning 2024, right? And they have a limited amount of dates. 12 to 14 dates. This is PBC has a it's just limited amount. So where is Jaron Boots Ennis going to go? It's not looking good. It's not looking good. So Jaron Ennis is not going to fight on any pay-per-view events. This is not a good look for Jaron Boots Ennis. And he's a hot commodity. He's going to have to explore many options. It's going to have to explore. I just gave you 5 pay-per-view dates, unless all their dates is going to be pay-per-view. Is it going to be pay-per-view? They have 150 active fighters. PBC does. 150 active fighters. That's not to include Stephen Fulton, right? Stephen Fulton needs fights. It's just, it's tight for Jaron Boots Ennis, man. It's super tight. It says Prime Video will air 12 to 14 annual fights between pay-per-views and non-pay-per-views. And the first one is expected March of 2024. The pay-per-view events that air on Prime Video will be available to buy regardless of if a fan is a Prime subscriber. This marks the first time that Prime Video is airing pay-per-view boxing matches in the U.S., a major development for the sport as it brings a partnership, right? So, a Prime subscription currently costs $14.99, so on and so forth. So, 14 fights, 12 to 14 fights in the year. I don't know. Jaron Boots Ennis is going to have to figure it out. But I think that he should entertain this deal from Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. But the big fights are with the PBC. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. Can he secure the fight with Keith Thurman? He needs something in writing that's guaranteeing he's securing the Keith Thurman fight or move freely. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Let me know what y'all think. Drop a comment in the comment section. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. So all I got for y'all. I'm gone. Peace.